Oh, well, here we are. This is my last chance to save Parkour Civilization. I have to be the one to summon the Parkour God. Apparently, nobody has ever successfully summoned him before, but I've met him. I know he's real, and I just need him to come back one more time. Because, let's face it, I destroyed the world. I let one of the most evil parkour villains escape, and death and destruction follow him everywhere he goes. I thought I was the champion of parkour, but my parkour abilities were nothing compared to the parkour villains. I was completely humiliated, like I was just another parkour noob, and all I could do was sit and watch as the villain took all of my blocks and escaped back to Parkour Civilization. And I was left here to suffer just like the villain did all of these years. In all of my time in Parkour Civilization, I've never experienced defeat like this. I mean, it only took one jump for the parkour villain to take every block I had. It was like he knew every move I was gonna do, and all I could do was just sit there and watch. I started grabbing every block that I could. Yes, it's true, I may be stuck here forever, but my friend is still in the middle of a parkour battle. If I gather enough blocks, maybe he'll have enough resources to win. I just need these to not fall in the void. Okay, well, I guess 2 chests is all I have. Alright, so basically, my friend is gonna have to win the parkour battle in 1 attack. And of course, that is if he's even alive still. I started making my way back to the parkour temple. Fortunately, when I got there, I saw that my friend was still floating over the void. I didn't have a plan. I was gonna have to use the 2 chests and improvise. But that's when I remembered this wasn't my only option. There might be a way to get more blocks. I almost forgot that I had an ally. We got separated when I fell into Siwat's trap, but he still should be alive. I went to the place where my ally was going to find Siwat, and I found him standing in the middle of the battlefield. Hey, are you alright, man? What happened here?
It was an ambush. I thought I would find Siwat here, but all I found was a fight. I barely survived, but I have nothing left. No more blocks to fight with.
Well, that answered my question. The only other place I know of blocks is at the very top of the parkour temple, but I don't have a water bucket anymore. It's just too risky. If only I could get the parkour god to come back and help us out or something. Other than that, I have no ideas.
Wait, you might be onto something. If you actually believe you can summon the parkour god, then follow me.
Wait, I was kind of joking, but alright. I started to follow the parkour fighter. At first, I thought we were going back to the library, but then I realized he was going further than that. A few moments later, we arrived at a building, and I saw a giant statue of the parkour god. The parkour fighter said that people would come to this building to try to get their prayers answered by the parkour god. Okay, so you said people would come here all the time, and they just summoned the parkour god?
People would come here, yes, but no one has been able to summon the parkour god. Apparently, the last jump you need to do is to jump into the void, and no one was willing to.
Great, so I have to die to summon the parkour god. Well, I mean, I'm stuck here forever, so it's either die now or die later.
If you do choose to go for it, good luck. I'm gonna go look for more blocks. It's been nice knowing you.
Okay, if I didn't know any better, I would say that his tone sounds like he thinks I'm not coming back. So, from what I know, no one has been able to summon the parkour god because of the last jump in this course. But I have some idea that it might be different for me. Back in Parkour Civilization, no one even thought the parkour god really existed. But I saw him with my own 2 eyes. He gave me the champion boots to save the world. He came back before to save my life, and maybe he'll do it one more time. And who knows, maybe if he does show up, he'll give me blocks, and he'll show me a way out of here. I just have to make sure not to miss a single jump before I even get to the summoning part. I barely made 2 3.5 block vertical jumps, and now I had to do, of course, water parkour? You know, you would think jumping into the void would be enough, but no. Instead, I have to not die accidentally, and then I have to die on purpose. How does that make any sense? When I first arrived on this level of civilization, I was forced to do water jumps to escape. And now, hopefully, this is the last time I'll be doing water jumps. I made the last jump, and I was standing at the base of the parkour god statue. A few feet in front of me stood a door, and when I walked up to it, it opened, just like all of the parkour temple doors did. I walked inside the room and I saw nothing. All that was inside this room was a giant hole in the middle of the floor. And of course, it went straight to the void. And this is the part when I began to realize that I think my ally was telling the truth. Unless I could somehow miraculously make a 5-block jump, it seems pretty clear that the only thing to do here is to jump straight into the void. Oh man, I can't believe I'm about to do this. Alright, parkour god, if you're listening, please send me some help. I backed up and I jumped into the hole with no blocks below me. me. But just as I was about to enter the void, I felt my feet hit slime blocks and I bounced up onto a ladder. Okay, that was not what I was expecting to happen. I didn't know how I was still alive. The blocks just appeared out of nowhere. Well, okay, if the parkour god's advice was to stop me from jumping into the void, I guess I got help. But I soon realized that my prayers were answered. Standing in front of me was a familiar figure, wearing diamond boots.
You know, it doesn't take much to convince you to jump into the void. You should really think these things through.
I don't get it. How are you standing there? I saw you die. How is this possible?
You asked the parkour god for help, so he sent me.
The parkour god heard me.
You look like you've been through a lot. Let's talk.
So it is true then. You removed this entire level of civilization just to imprison the parkour villain? I mean, wasn't there any other way to stop him?
The only other way was to beat him in a parkour race, and I couldn't. So instead, I had to deal with the consequences of my actions my entire life. I'm sorry, Evbo.
It's fine. I actually understand. There was nothing you could do. I mean, if anyone's to blame in this situation, it's me. I was the one who let him out. Everyone in parkour civilization would have been fine if I wasn't so reckless. And now I lost my champion boots. Those were the only ticket out of here.
You may not have your champion boots anymore, but there is still a way out of here.
I can go home? Tell me how. You know what they say, sometimes jumping in the void can save your life. I mean, no one has said that before, but in this case, it might have just saved mine. I have a way back to parkour civilization, but first, I just need to get my friend out of this parkour battle. I walked up to my friend, expecting to see the parkour fighter waiting with his attack. But he wasn't here. What's going on? Where is the guy that attacked you?
You're not gonna believe this, but he fell in the void. From what I can see, he's never coming back, but the problem is that his attack still stands, and I'm at half a heart.
The parkour fighter fell into the void during a battle, but even if he's gone, his attack might hit you if you don't do a harder jump.
Exactly, so that means the only way I can get out of this is if you build me a jump that's harder than the attack.
Alright, I got very limited blocks, so it's time to do some parkour analysis. I'm not gonna lie, this jump is going to be hard. The parkour fighter attacked you with a 3.5 block vertical jump. Okay, that's not great news, but I think we might just be able to work with this. I placed down one of the chests. Now, my friend could do a 3.5 block diagonal downwards jump. Okay, we still have a problem. Your jump is going downwards, and that attack is going upwards, which means yours is still easier. I don't see how I could use the other chest I have to build a harder jump, so that means you're not gonna like this. You have to do a 360.
No way, man. I can't do a 3.5 block diagonal 360. Are you crazy?
I'm sorry, this is the only way. You have to make this to survive.
Oh, I never thought it would end like this, but at least I'll go out doing a 360.
There was nothing more I could do at this point. All I could do was watch.
I wish you never made 360s.
I watched as my friend jumped and made the 360 onto the chest. For the first time in days, both me and my friend were safe. Let's go! See, not that hard. I knew you could do it. My friend was saved, and now there was only one thing left to do, and that was return to parkour civilization.
I didn't find any blocks, but it looks like you didn't need them anyways. So what happens now?
I may have a way back to parkour civilization, and the way back was in front of us the whole time. The old man told me there would be a room behind the champion statue inside the parkour temple, just like the secret room back in parkour civilization. Sure enough, the room was here, and it was nothing except for 5 parkour jumps. The old man apparently made this as a last resort.
So you're jumping in the void on purpose?
Apparently, and surprisingly for the second time today. The old man said that only by failing the 4th jump will I be able to make it back to parkour civilization. I gave my friends the blocks that I had. I would be going on this journey alone, so they were better off in their hands than mine. From their perspectives, they won't know if I had died or made it back home, so all they could do was just wait for me. My friend gave me his last piece of food to take on my journey. If I was gonna die in the void, I might as well not die on an empty stomach. Alright, let's jump into the void for the second time today. I'm really hoping I remembered the old man's words correctly. It was the 4th jump, wasn't it? Of course, there's nothing down there to let me know if I'm in the right spot or not. Wait, maybe it wasn't the 4th jump. Maybe it was the 5th. Oh man, why am I forgetting now? This was quite literally the only thing I had to remember. If I die and the entire world gets destroyed because I couldn't remember one number, well, I guess no one would know it was me, right? Okay, I just gotta choose one. I think it's number 4. This was it. This was the only way back. And the only way back was to fail a jump. Let's just hope I failed the right one. I was falling through the void, but then I felt ground under my feet. When I jumped, I thought my journey was over, but I soon realized that there was more to my story. I was standing in the place where my journey first began. This was my home, Parkour Civilization, and I was gonna be the one to save it again.